Hey kids, have you ever wanted to rule a kingdom when you were younger? Yes, a boy named Arthur did just that. At the age of 18, he was ruling over the kingdom of Camelot. I know I couldn't do that, so kudos to him. There are many ways to retell a story, and a woman named Kiersten White did that. She retold the Arthurian legends from Guinevere's point of view and spiced up some other details that we will get to later. Now, I know what you're thinking. Who? What? Why? Where? When? Whoa, hold your horses. We'll get to those answers in a little bit. But now I think you need a bit of a simplified backstory. It all started when a man named King Uther Pendragon was totally crushing on the Duke's wife, Igraine. Now, even though he was a king, he can't go meddling around with other people's wives. So to solve this, he called up his wizard buddy Merlin hey, I want to get naughty with Igraine. But Merlin said, now hold on a second, you shouldn't do that. Merlin was a wise man. So wise, in fact, that he could see into the future, and the future told him a powerful king would bring peace to Camelot. Now Merlin gets things done, even if the methods are a bit extreme. So, Merlin scratched his chin and said, here's the plan. I use magic to disguise you as the Duke, and you come home to spend your night with Igraine. The king accepts. Flash forward to 9 months, little Arthur is born. Medieval times are challenging, and what better way to raise a kid than for him to be sent off to 2 partial strangers with swords? Well, that's exactly what happened. When King Uther died, there was many people who wanted to wear that shiny royal hat of his. Merlin used magic again, but this time he used his magic for something more consensual. He embedded a sword in a rock. The first person to rip the sword from Mother Earth would be the next one to wear that shiny royal hat. Many people tried and failed. Then Arthur, who was technically already the king, pulled it from the rock. He was awarded the shiny royal hat. He then married a girl named Guinevere, who both helped King Arthur rule the kingdom and went on to have a troubled affair with Lancelot, the best knight in the kingdom. Now, in Guinevere Deception, a book written by Kiersten White, something similar but different happens. Instead of being told as King Arthur being the protagonist, White takes on a different approach and she makes the story from Guinevere's point of view. This is an interesting literary choice because of the original story. Morte D'Arthur, a book written by Thomas Malory, tells the story from a third-person point of view, and White tells her story from the first-person point of view. By telling a story in the third-person point of view, the audience distances themselves from the characters and therefore cannot get fully immersed. But by using first-person, the readers learn about the story by actually being in Guinevere's shoes, but not literally being in her shoes. Although both were published around different times in history, both stories were written for the same audience. Morte D'Arthur was published a few years ago in 1485. And the Guinevere Deception was published November 5th, 2019 BC, or as I like to call it, before COVID. Now on the topic of epidemics, Morte D'Arthur was only written 15 epidemics ago. Wow, the more you know. Gender bending, or the changing of someone's gender, is one way of making your story different from all those who came before it. In Morte D'Arthur, Lancelot is written as a guy. He falls in love with Queen Guinevere and is the best knight of the Round Table. The Guinevere Deception, Lancelot is changed to become a woman. Her true identity was revealed when she saved Guinevere from an angry pig with horns. In this story, she is still a knight in shining armor, but since she is a woman, she is forbidden to become an official knight of Camelot. This does not obstruct her vision of being a knight. She participates in a tournament, ties with King Arthur himself, and saves Queen Guinevere many times from certain death, yet she does not receive the rank of a knight. Queen Guinevere promotes Lancelot to become her personal bodyguard at the end of the book. You may have noticed some similarities between both the Guinevere Deception and Morte D'Arthur. You are not alone. There are parts that are similar, there are parts that are different. Every story can be boiled down to just 7 basic plots: overcoming a monster, rags to riches, the quest, the voyage and return, comedy, tragedy, and finally, rebirth. Every story you hear follows along one of these plots. The story of King Arthur is no different. It follows along the quest plot. The Guinevere Deception also follows along the same plot. Now, because of copyright, White could certainly use much of the original story, and that has been done before. Many times, in fact. But that did not stop her from exercising her creativity. She decided to take the story along a different path and made the story from Guinevere's point of view and altered Lancelot's gender. In La Morte D'Arthur, after the marriage between King Arthur and now Queen Guinevere, Arthur receives a very large circular table. He uses this as a meeting place for all of his knights. The creative geniuses in the kingdom called it the Round Table. Lancelot catches feelings for Guinevere, and she has similar feelings in return. After their affair is discovered, King Arthur declares war on Lancelot. This is rough for Arthur because Lancelot is his best knight, but he has slept with Arthur's wife. This does not happen in the Guinevere Deception. Instead, Guinevere feels a spark between herself and Mordred. As this romance plays out, Guinevere gives up magic to be with Arthur instead of being able to freely use it if she were to choose Mordred. She would also have to deal with the Dark Queen if she chose Mordred, and the Dark Queen is not exactly your ideal grandmother-in-law. The other large conflict regards Guinevere specifically. She grew up being trained by Merlin, which means that she is a very powerful wizard. To protect her, Merlin sends her to King Arthur to get married, but does not tell her she's getting protection by doing this. Flash forward to the end of the book, she finds out that she was sent to Camelot for her own protection. She also accidentally awoke the trees and the Dark Queen. Oops! There is no clear conflict resolution for this massive problem she just created, because it is the cliffhanger for the second book in the series. Personally, I feel that this new twist in the story certainly came as a surprise, a good surprise. It kept me interested and engaged from chapter to chapter. Taking on something new and different is a very risky behavior, but I believe it was worth it. Thanks everyone for watching. Until next time, I'm Ben.